Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Good evening or good morning, wherever it is in your neck of the woods. This is me, Princess Anika Ovis, for another episode of Goddess Talk. Unfortunately, Reverend Walker cannot be here today because I think she's still having internet issues and she's not feeling well. So today I'm not going to be long. I hope I'm just going to talk about goddesses, how Reverend Walker and I got into goddesses and what what we wanted to do. So Reverend Walker and I attended the Interdenominational Theological Center at IPC. It's a seven denominational Christian seminary, Atlanta. And so it's HBC historically black. Um, and so we um, we had this idea. First, like I was in my second year of ITC, and I think Reverend Walker had graduated already. But on Facebook, she was talking about we were talking about doing a syllabus or a class or something about goddesses um, of the African diaspora. We were ITC. One thing about ITC, really taught us that Black Power thing, that into our ancestor culture. So we were into it, and I was always into gods because I like mythology, I like religion. So and so we've been trying to we're trying to work something out. Every time we were trying to work something out, life got in the way because I graduated and moved to California. She had created a Facebook called Goddess of the African Diaspora. We tried to do something, but then again, life got in the way. It's still on Facebook. I don't know if she wants to turn it into a Facebook page or invite everyone who's normal watchers to like to join the Facebook group. But I graduated, she graduated, life got in the way, and so we've been trying to do something about goddesses for like 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 7 years. 7 years. So it's 7 years, and we 7 years. So we've connected and reconnected this year, and we talked about what we wanted to do, and we decided to do the show and see how it goes. And so far, we have an audience, and it's going well, I think. And so yes, that's how we have gone now on YouTube. As we know, it started on Instagram. So yes, one thing about ITC, it was that it was very liberation theology, so feminist, womanism, Caribbean, Caribbean theology, Native American, indigenous people theology, Black theology. So there was about liberation. Liberation. We learned liberation theology. We learned how to liberate ourselves from chains of religion, or how we can use the religion, the sacred text, to liberate us. So yes, and so like I said, I was always into goddesses because I like mythology. Then I took a class. I don't remember what class it was. It was I think it was an African and Middle Eastern religion. African and Middle Eastern religion. And we talked about the origin of the Afro. So I got into that about the origins of African diaspora. Not only Egypt had gods and goddesses, but Africa did, Ethiopia did. pre-Islamic, pre-Islamic Middle East did, had before Islam and Christianity became main religion. So yes, that's how I came into goddesses, and then when I left for California, a lot of classes like Hinduism. So I did a collage of Hindu, Hindu goddesses. So Reverend Kim and I again connected, and we decided maybe we should not only focus on African diaspora because not everyone knows Greek mythology and Norse mythology and Egyptian mythology and Roman mythology. But what about others? They don't know much about that. Christianity once, well, not Christianity, but Judaism once upon a time did have a goddess, like I just said in one of the early episodes. And they're indigenous people goddesses. They're of course, there was African spirits, orishas and spirits. There's the Celts. There are so many goddesses that I we don't know. So about that mainstream people don't know about. So what is a goddess? A goddess is a female deity. And just like the concept of God has been around since man has been put on this earth, whether God created man or whether they evolved, whatever you believe. So, so God, God and goddesses have both been around the same time. So, in a lot of the ancient cultures, when you have a king god creating the world, usually a queen. And then there's also in this modern time um, era, a lot there's in places like Greece and Rome and where a lot of these ancient cultures were, there's a resurgence of followers of the old god. They're not as many as they used to be. A lot of it, a lot of some of the Greeks are moving away from Christianity and going back to old ways of the government. And the same with the North, with the people in um, Norway and Sweden. There are some people that are moving away from Christianity, but they're not as numerous. And of course, there in India there's Hinduism, and in Africa there's those indigenous religions, and then you have Native American indigenous people, Native Americans, Amerindians, with their religious but what happens a lot with African religion and indigenous people religion, that but a lot of these the countries that are Roman Catholic, they end up being with merged together with a saint or 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 Mary or Jesus. So like Mary, the goddess, Mary, Mother of God, or Jesus, would be merged together with African or Mary. So there's also in our modern day era, there's like this goddess movement um, that's led by led goddess movement scholarship that the scholar, the feminist scholar Carol P. Price, she's done a lot of research on the goddess, the goddess movement, and there are a lot of women out there who are now thinking about maybe wishing for the deity. So there are there in some faiths Like Hinduism, there is Shaktism, the worship of the female force. And then I'm going to list some goddesses. You know, in the ancient Near East, there is Inya, who is merged with Ishtar. A lot of people know Ishtar. There's a rumor that goes that that's where Ishtar came from, but that's not the that's, She was the Inya Ishtar. Inya, who's now merged with Ishtar. It came from the now what we now know as Iraq. Um, and they were the goddesses of war, fertility, love, sexuality. Who will So you will, if you're thinking of Ishtar and Enya and you think of goddess, that's quickly remember Chinese Roman goddess Venus. But the thing about that Ishtar and Enya that separates them from Aphrodite and Venus, they're also goddesses. Um, Aphrodite is not a. I mean, she is in love and in a adulterous relationship with Ares, the Roman god. Romans call him Mars, who is the god of war, but she's not. And a lot of goddesses or mother goddesses, earth goddesses. Then we have Gaia, we have Asherah, we have Sebo, we have Sebo. Those are mother goddesses, and so they're the ones that this is where all creation came from. You know, if you know Greek mythology, um, Gaia produces Uranus, the sky, and she mates with Uranus, and then she has 300. She has the Titans and other creatures, other not creatures, other gods and spirits. And so, like all Earth comes from these Earth goddesses. All life comes from these Earth goddesses, directly or indirectly. With Gaia, she didn't create humanity. That her grandson Zeus, king of the god, Greek god, created humanity. So yeah, so she indirectly has something to do with the creation of the earth. And then so we have ancient Egypt, we have Isis, we have Hathor, we have Nut. Now Hathor is like Ishtar and India and Aphrodite. But like India and Ishtar, she has more, she's just not the goddess of love. She has characteristics. Aphrodite is, I mean, Aphrodite is more than the goddess of love. I think she's the goddess of beauty also. But Inya, Ishtar, and Hefa are more than just goddesses of love. So usually the goddesses are associated with beauty, fertility, sexuality, motherhood, love. That's the generalization of goddesses. Though in some cultures, like in Plutonian cultures, like the Celts and indigenous names, indigenous people's religions, there is a goddess of war, like in um, West African diaspora, West African religions. We have Oye. She is the Austria of war and the lightning. Although we do have Athena, but in Greek mythology, or Minerva in Roman mythology. But unlike these other goddesses of war, unlike Athena who stays a virgin, they marry, they have children, they do what they do. So usually, love and war are usually together. So I guess that's why Aphrodite and Aries in Greek mythology and Roman mythology are all together. And then, so throughout every culture, there's a goddess. In Kenya, which is where ancient Judaism and Christianity and Islam came, well, not Islam, but ancient Christianity and Judaism came from. You have Astray, Anat, Babel, Babel, named after the storm god Babel, and then you have Asherah, which was what the ancient Jews, the emphasis of the ancient worship. And then you go to Anatolia, which is modern day Turkey, which is you have Sibyl, you have Hebit, and you have Amarat. Then you have pre-Islamic Arabia. Now, Saudi Arabia, but um, doesn't always is like um, Greece wasn't always Christian. And we weren't always Christian. They had their own rituals and ancient religions. And so their goddesses was Yuza. One of the goddesses was Yuza, and then one was Al Lat. So then you have so many, and then in African diaspora you have Oshan, and you have Oye, and then in Hinduism you have Lak- Lakishmia, Lakishmia, pronouncing her name wrong, and Kali. Now, Kali is misinterpreted by Westerners. She's not a evil or destruction. She's actually life. She's actually rebirth, and so she's actually the life cycle. So of course you get she's destruction, but you also get rebirth with Kali. It's kind of similar, like the story with Demeter. Now we know that Hades, the god of the dead, went and kidnapped Demeter's daughter Swanati. And so when Swanati was in the underworld, got the dead, the earth was dead. When she came back, the earth rebirth. So it's also always when you have goddesses going, who are being destroyed or being destroyed, not necessarily forever, or going in the underworld, they always remerge back, and that shows that the cycle of life. So it's all about goddesses are always about the cycle of life. Um, one they're not always associated with the love and sexuality; they could be associated with the cycle of life. So what Reverend Walker and I plan to do with this series is also we're not only going to talk about Christianity and Islam and Judaism or Greek mythology or popular mythology. We're going to start going away from what is popular Greek, Norse, Egyptian, and start tackling goddesses from other places that are not well known. I don't think a lot of people know the well-known the goddesses of the Celts, or the goddesses of Hinduism, or the goddesses of the indigenous people in the North and South American, Caribbean, or the goddesses, the Oshias of the West African diaspora. So since this is not a conversation, I am cannot I am not, I'm trying not to be long. So this is like basically a re, a re introduction to goddesses and why we do it. When I pray to the Christian God, I call God her, but though I would prefer not to say he or her because God is not human, God is spirit, and God does have both male and female um as aspect, and so that if some of the text in the sacred text shows those both male and female aspects. So, and we're also not going to talk about goddesses. We're going to talk about women, independent women throughout the religions and the culture and how cultures and the mythology of different cultures and how they are treated. And yes, don't worry, it's coming, it's coming. The Caribbean edition is coming. So yes, so we're going to the plan is to move away from the popular aspects of Greek, Roman, Egyptian, Norse, and start going going from African diaspora, Caribbean, um, Native American, indigenous people, Hindus, Celts, people, East, East European, East European. We don't know much about East European goddesses. Um, Tibet, China, that's how we what we want to get the series go. Talk about these goddesses and female characters in these cultures and how they are treated. And so we're starting to move away from Christianity and Judaism slowly but surely. So this is it. I didn't want to be long because it's just me and I can't have a conversation with myself. So the third Sunday of this month, hopefully Reverend Walker will be able to have her internet issues fixed. Oh, these damn internet companies. Sorry. and and she'll feel much better because I think she was coming down with a cold too or cough or something. But yeah, so third Sunday of this month, hopefully we'll be back together. And I want everyone to stay safe, sanitize, wear your mask, be 6 feet distant, feet apart. If the vaccine is available and you can take it and you qualify to take it and you can take it, take it. I took the vaccine. So, all I had to do was all my side effects was that I just felt tired for the whole weekend and had a fever, and that was it. Um, I'm a supporter of taking the vaccine. I believe in science. So the research says the vaccine can help, then I think we should follow the science. But thank you for listening to me solo by myself. Um, I think it went good. So take care and see you on the third Sunday of this month. And have a great May. Bye.